Yo, welcome to the show. As always, I'm your host Marcel, and I'm known as the wealth mentor, wealth creator, and the host of Wealthy Sibling, right? And as always, we here to change the perspective of those who feel that they've chosen to become the wealthy sibling, the wealthy relative, and on a journey to change their family's money story, right? What does that mean? Most of our family started out one way, not high income, and we've chosen to become those wealthy sibling, wealthy relatives to change the money story. But today we're going to talk about some things that I think um, don't be studied enough, which is the value of your title. And what does that necessarily mean? And I think, especially in the culture, we don't understand the value of our titles, right? And one of the first titles that I want to talk about is good old Idris. Good old Idris Elba. But why you want to talk about Idris? You talking about old boy from the wire who we never knew was British this whole time? Yes, that Idris, right? But I want to talk about the fact that he has been knighted. And in the UK, to be knighted, it's one of these very old traditions, but it's a highly honored tradition, right? To be knighted is high honors in European culture, right? In Britain. And if you don't know, Idris Elba is an acclaimed actor known for The Wire, Luther, and he was knighted in the UK this year, right, in 2026. So we knocking down doors, especially as Black people, in so many ways, right? And he was put on an honor list, right, for his contributions and charities and work that he does with youth empowerment. So Wealth Mentor, it sees that work can pay off, and you can be honored at the highest esteem when you put this work in and impacting people's lives, right, and changing the youth's lives, right. So he's receiving knighthood specifically for service to young people, right, which is amazing. I'm spotlighting both his creative career and his work with social activism, right. His Hope Foundation. So he has the ELAB Hope Foundation, co-founded with his wife, that supports education, entrepreneurship, and community empowerment for youth advocacy in the UK, US, and Africa. If you haven't deep dive or looked into past his acting, he did a Prime series, right? Prime and maybe BBC and a few other major network series about the gold rush, right, on the Ivory Coast, and just diving into the significance of value, right, of Africa, which I thought was really dope. But this title elevates him as a global role model, brighter art community leadership, affirming that he has cultural impact, like for sure. Now, we always talk about what are we talking about this Hitler, bro? We talk about how to become wealthy, especially as entrepreneurs, the stories and the journeys that we go through being entrepreneurs. So let's talk about what does this mean to be have a knighthood, have this title as a knighthood on the business side or wealthy side. Well, now being a knight, as y'all see, great Idris, being a knight, um, it isn't business related directly, right? But it does add value to your personal brand, right? When your personal brand grows, collaborations grow, you've piqued the world's interest. And when you pique the world's interest, you can pique the world's pockets, right? So, what does it do? Recognize this level and creates new opportunities for speaking engagements, partnerships, influence marketing. There's a lot of money comes with influence, right? You see this most recently with like Drewski as an example. Money, opportunities, limelight comes with influence. Okay. Now, what does this do for him as a career wise? Like this is probably gone up on the shelves as far as his long diverse career. He went from DJing, he did a movie about his actual career, to his personal narrative, right? So Ebert says, I received this honor on behalf of many young people. Idris, right? She says, I received this honor on behalf of many young people whose talented ambition and resilience has driven the work of the Elp Hope Foundation, right? Shows his lens of legacy despite his title. Uh, he jokes, even though I've been knighted, he says he's still the same old. And I think that a lot of us, when we get titles, we become new people. And I think to to be the same old you, even as you grow, right? As I become the wealth mentor, wanting to create a million wealthy mentees, and I'm going on my wealthy journey, still the same old sellers. And depending upon how you know me, people really refer to me as that, right? So here's my question for you guys, right? How does your title reflect who you are, right? Elevating yourself to something bigger than yourself, right? What what does that mean, y'all? Now, will I become a new honored man if I'm titled as a knight? Right? These are questions that, of course, he's going to have to pose to himself, but pose to yourself. When you live up to a new title? And a new title could be a promotion. Are you going to live up to be calling yourself a leader? Are you going to live up to calling yourself the most consistent man, right? Or whatever the case is. Are you going to live up to that title, right? That you've given yourself and someone else is giving you. Now, most of the culture in my women, uh, this young woman usually has y'all turned up, has y'all lit. But I think that a lot of people um, gloss over how business savvy she actually may be, right? And actually, in general, actually is intelligent because she graduated with a bachelor's, right? She has a degree. And I'm talking about no other than Miss Megan Thee Stallion. They're like, whoa, Marcel, what we talking about megaphone? What does she have to do? Well, one of the things that she's doing that I actually wanted the culture to dive into, she's gained a new title, and this title is called being no other than a franchise owner. Megan Thee Stallion has opened up her first Popeyes franchise. So this is her new title. She's a franchise owner now. What does that mean? I think that we as a culture overlook the things and the possibilities that we can make true and impactful in our community, right? Being a franchise owner is one of them. Whether you do it with a major brand or you do it with your own brand, shout out Black Box. You can click the link in my bio. You can always comment, DM me, and I'll send you their preview. With Black Box, if you have your own independent business and you want that to be a global name, that's a way you can franchise. But we're going to stick to this. I still think this is important as far as when you gain a new title, right? So she's gained the title of franchise owner. What does that mean, right? Megan Thee Stallion has entered her mogul era. The Houston rapper and digital global superstar has opened doors and opened her first Popeyes in South Beach, Miami. Now, some people ask, why South Beach? I would, but if it ain't there, that means that there's market. There's a market, there's a community, there's a client, there's a customer for it, right? And who don't love Popeyes, bro? I'm not even gonna hold you. Who don't love Popeyes, right? But now, what is she doing? She's using her rap fame and title to roll over into real businessship and ownership, right? And it had officially opened like really on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2025, right? Now, how does it impact the culture? For those women who do watch Megan Thee Stallion, now you have more than just a night in the club or a good song to dance to. Now you can, oh, she opened up a franchise? Let me Google how much it costs to open up a franchise. And while it's January before tax time, I give you a gem. It's been told, and you can research this yourself, that you can get, now these prices may fluctuate, but last time I had checked into franchising, you can get a Subway, a gas station, and there may be one other utility, a major industry that you can do a franchise startup for as low as $3,000, right? Of course, you can get a small business loan or a personal loan to adequate like the startup fees for it, but it's possible for you to to franchise or start your franchise with a low as like $3,000, right? So when it comes to like tack time, like this is what I mean when I say take the people who got your attention, utilize more than what it is that they just do on the front end, that she's more than just a rapper, and look at how she's really moving as a businesswoman, right? So she isn't just opening up a restaurant. She's showing up in the uniform. She's showing up as a real boss, as a real owner, stating that I am not above you, that this is an opportunity that I am trying to create, not just for myself, but the people who work there. So when you open up a franchise that has a new location, what are you doing? Ironically, you're going into the job market and you're shaking it up, right? Because with a new store and a new front, new opportunities, they have to hire people, they need a manager, they need a cook, they need Popeyes was my first job, which is so crazy. So like this, these are the power and the things that we can do when we have the money, right? Now, I don't know how many of y'all knew that at the time, but it's our job to highlight these things when people won't, right? It may not be all over BET because honestly, this should be a major thing. Hey, yo, she opened up a franchise. How many black people actually thought about opening up a franchise, whether it's with a major brand or independently, right? Now, brand collaborations, she has this thing called Hottie Sauce that she came out with in 2021. So now she has the ability to say, hey, I developed a hot sauce that I think is really, really good. Can we implement it in the Popeyes seasoning and start those type of things? Is it possible to do that? You can break the groundwork with that, and you can do it with your new partnerships. Like, hey, I'm bringing a influx of new customers. I'm going to bring a new vibe. Can we partner and put my hot sauce into the mix of, just like the streamer collabs and how they have streamer combos at Popeyes now, right? So there's ways for you to get your things in the door with partnerships and collaborations. So I'm never against that. So now, what does this do on the wealth and business side? This asset creates income independently from music sales, touring. Like this is a completely, hey yo, I'm finna get some money on my back end, get passive money while I sleep, create cash flow without even having to worry about stepping away really from my main thing. Or if I decide to leave my main thing, how do I continuously make money, right? Do things like this, steady revenue, growth option, you multiply, and then you can always sell it. Now, going back to the value of your title, right? What do you hold? This changes what the world could have only known Megan Thee Stallion for, which is twerking and hip hop and all of this stuff. Now she's known for having her own degree, utilizing her education, and opening up a franchise and getting into entrepreneurship and becoming business savvy. So when we say like we really doing what we really doing, it's different. Now you can't be uh judged and put into a box uh as a person of color, as a black man or black woman. Like there's more to us than meets the eye than whatever we may have gained recognition for, right? Whatever we become wealthy for, there's always more to that side of the coin, right? And I think that that's really, really dope. Now, this is my question, especially for the women when we talk about Megan. Are you building a revenue stream that works even when the spotlight dims? Because she's now that she's going into entrepreneurship in this fashion, even when she done rapping and done in the hip hop scene, she can make some revenue, create a revenue stream. What you doing? What you doing? Now, last but not least, another woman, another sister. But I think that this is really, really dope when it comes to the different avenues of if I want to go from rich to wealthy, what steps and magnitude should I be taking for that to really, really happen? How should I be thinking? How should I be moving? What is we talking about? And what we talking about is this. What does it mean to own a WNBA team, right? And she owns she's become one of the newest owners. They call her minority owners of the Toronto Tempo, right? Now, a lot of people be like, what is this move? This is a rich to wealthy move. Because yes, she has money. She is Serena Williams. She is an icon in women's sports, right? Now, yes, she's one of the greatest athletes in history. She has 23 Grand Slam titles. She's entering a new chapter, going back from who I was, what my legacy is, and what I wanted to finish it out to be. All right. And becoming the owner of the Toronto Tempo is just another notch in solidifying the value of your title, right? A nationally a women's national basketball team owner, right? Now, what did she say? She says owning she Serena says her ownership isn't about just basketball. It's about showcasing true value and potential of female athletes. So this isn't just about the money she could be making. This is about when I walk into any room, uh, I am a staple or an example of the ones who will come before me, right? And what will my statements be? What will my legacy be when it comes to that, right? Now, this positioned her as a champion for women's sports, investment, expanding visible legacy. Like you can move different when you become an owner. You can incentivize by leveraging your power and influence that if there were things that wasn't there for women's sports, it can be implemented by one of the top women athletes in the world, right? Now, how does this apply to business? Yes. Serena moves to do other ventures, right? She's taking a minority stake in the Miami Dolphins, um, the LA's golf club, but taking equity into the WNBA franchise is a long-term asset play for sports team ownership historically that did not have us there before. There's media rights, there's sponsorships, there's fan engagement growth. There's a lot of things that come into this ownership, right? Her active role contributes to like the uniform design, merchandise. Like, what if you were able to be mentored by one of the greatest female athletes in the world, is speaking to my young women, and now you have a person who's been through everything you've been through and can now tailor and talk to you about the NIL deals that have been instructed, that have been introduced into sports, right? And how to navigate your fandom, right? Your image. There's things like that. And what does this do for a legacy? Because now, for a lot of my young females out there that want to accomplish and be something, man, now you can take pieces out of her playbook. And even like, I'll give you a more recent example for the young women who are coming up. Take some pieces out of Shador's playbook, because what did he have? He had his father, which is Coach Prime, who has done this game at the highest level, who not only being his dad, but became his coach and his mentor, right? So what if you had Serena Williams in coming out of Canada, because there are a lot of black people in Canada. Shout out to a lot of my Caribbean and Black Canadian people in Canada, and you had the opportunity to get advice from her coming up. You know what I'm saying? So now on the legacy side, the shifts absolute ownership and extends her influence beyond her playing career into shaping sports culture, shaping women's culture. Her leadership amplifies opportunity for women, particularly black women, right? In the spaces traditionally dominated by males and other people. So I think that this in itself shows that, again, take ownership and the title that you're going for and the title that you receive from Idris Elba becoming knighted from Megan Thee Stallion becoming a franchise owner and how she's literally creating jobs like that, like literally. Every fry cook, every night manager, every morning manager, that's a new position, and that's a set of salary that has to be filled and can be filled because she decided to become a franchise owner. See what I'm saying? And Serena Williams knocking down more avenues into women's sports, right? That wasn't there before, and her having a say so and how wide that door is open. And I think that that is something that we need to reflect upon. So my last question I'm posing to you, my audience, everybody that follows: are you investing in platforms that create opportunity for others and not just for yourself? I think that a lot of time we get in this game only thinking of self, and then we be surprised at how far or not so far we get only thinking of self, right? So I want to wrap this episode with these fun insights, right? When we talk about titles that reflect action create legacy. When we talk about ownership moves transformational cultural capital into economical capital. And lastly, legacy isn't inherited, especially for us. It's constructed through purpose, strategy, and investments, and especially investing in yourself. Right. So, with that being said, as always, I'm your host, Marcel, known as the Wealth Mentor. My goal is to create the next generation and inspire the next generation of wealthy relatives, wealthy siblings for sure. Uh, to go on your journey, change your family's money story, do it with purpose, keep striving for your dreams. As always, we have more conversations next week. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Yeah, I will holler.